Hello and welcome back. I know that it's been a really hot minute since we've actually recorded. I had to go through, I ended up doing somewhere in the area of 15 hours of lecture videos for a college course that I was writing. And ultimately, I got really burnt out in recording audio again and again and again and again for those 15 hours. So I ended up taking a much longer break than I wanted to. But today we've got the perfect thing to come back to. The thing that I always kind of wish that I'd been able to react to fresh and directly. That is epic rap battles of history. And if you've been around for a while on here or you know anything about me, I love history and I love rap. And this is a great way to look at it. Uh, Today we're looking at the brand new episode. It literally dropped today. The Red Baron, the German fighter pilot from the First World War, Manfred von Richthofen, who absolutely dominated the skies before finally being brought down. And on the other side, Simo Hahe, which I know I butchered that, but also give me a little bit of slack. Finnish is not the easiest language. The sniper, one of the deadliest men to have ever lived, is a devil in the snow for the Soviet troops invading during the Winter War with Finland. I'm so excited. Let's get rolling.
The red barrel versus the white dot begin!
I'm the greatest sniper ever, took out 1,000 surgically. If you've never heard of me, I did my job perfectly. You wouldn't last a minute in the snow pits I was sitting in. I'm faithful for my homeland, like Sub-Zero, I'm a... You kept your fly...
Alright, fair enough. Now, few things. And this is kind of varied. For a lot of historical figures, we will have heard voice lines, we'll have heard clips from speeches, or we'll have gone back and listened to full speeches. I've never heard Simo Hahe's speech. I've never heard what he sounds like. It is a little jarring, honestly, never having thought about that being the voice, but fair enough. Fair enough. And I do love...
I'm the greatest sniper ever.
Yeah, greatest sniper ever. Now, he is kind of a weird outlier here. He's far more likely to end up in direct confrontation, but he was a master at what he did. He used his skis to move around Soviet troops regularly, taking shots at different locations consistently. That way they couldn't triangulate his position. And he ends up having arguably the highest set of kills for any sniper ever. Now, ultimately, a lot of that becomes kind of hard to verify and hard to check, but it's pretty widely accepted that he is the deadliest sniper in human history.
Took out 1,000 surgically. If you've never heard of me, I did my job perfectly.
Yeah, that a half of 1,000 surgically, he has around 500 confirmed kills, which is a just insane statement. Now, beyond that,
You wouldn't last a minute in the snow pits I was sitting in. I'm faithful for my homeland, like Sub-Zero, I'm a...
which I'm also a big fan of this bar. I'm a huge Mortal Kombat guy. Not to mention the fact that he's doing the uppercut in the background. That's really solid. The Sub-Zero, this is called the Winter War for a reason. The Soviets invade in the winter, and it does not ultimately go well for them.
You kept your flying target of a plane or to miss. You're more full of yourself than my steaming jars of piss. But you're second class, like your first Iron Cross. You're only held...
So that's kind of a... It's a stupid bar, but I do get it. One of the big ideas is that snipers are going to be there for a long time. They're going to be waiting for that shot. They're going to be waiting for the right time. You also couldn't, in a lot of cases, one of the big things for a sniper like Simo Hahe in this case, he does not want to be spotted. He does not want to leave any trace that he was there. So you couldn't just go and use the restroom like normal. You would have to store or hide any leftovers of what you've done. So that makes a lot of sense. That's a fun line, if not a little silly.
You're more full of yourself than my steaming jars of piss, but you're second class like your first day across. You're only held up as the best by the side that always lost. Should have zagged over France, but you zigged and got your wig popped. Your whole flying circus can suck it, big top. When duty called, a leopard army ranks ripped open. Now it's time to make a zombie out of this ripped open.
Oh, that's a really cool. So ultimately, what we end up seeing, that's a Call of Duty Zombies bar at the end with the call out to make a zombie. Out of Richthofen being the German member of the original Zombies group in Call of Duty Zombies. But also, Simo Hai, one of the main reason why he ends up being taken out of the fight is he takes an explosive round to the face, and it leaves him with a permanent deformity around his jaw. That's super neat.
I'm the ace of aces, and I'm coming in hot on a basketball, looking like the Phantom of the Opera. Stick to skis, your iron sights will never find me. You're firing blindly like you let the sun get behind me.
Oh, that's super good. So, few things here. That iron sight bar, or Simo Hai wouldn't use a scope on his rifles because the glint off of a scope can give away a position. He wants to remain steady, remain hidden, and then with the sun behind him, it blinds his opponents when he's coming in. So that's a really solid move. And it's one of those things that gives him the upper hand in a lot of dogfights and a lot of these conflicts in the skies. By the way, I kind of skipped over the bars about just ripping apart Soviets, which makes sense. All of it is good. But I wanted to get moving on to the next section.
Stalin said you sitting ducks. Your kill counts due to luck. Your whole campaign is set to easy as fuck. Tiptoeing.
I don't know if I'd agree, but I do get it. Simo Hai is on his own land, and the Soviets are invading at a very inopportune time. They don't have the proper equipment or materials to support their forces in this process. And just generally, Finland does excellent against the Soviet Union during this conflict, even though it is much, much smaller, because of this kind of really poorly put together offensive by the Soviets. And so he does have a fair bit of luck alongside that. But that's not his fault.
Around killing weak Russian recruits. You're a sneaky little ninja of low-hanging fruit.
That's another good way to put it. Many Soviet soldiers are conscripts. They are pushed into joining the military, or they are drafted, made to do this. And by the time that we get to the Winter War, very few have direct combat experience. Now, they invaded Poland in 1939. Right? Other than that, they've had a few border skirmishes out east in the 1930s, but there has not been a major conflict that the Soviet Union has been involved with since the 1920s. So the officers will probably have some experience, but the ground combat troops, there's a good chance that they don't.
Gamble free is how I like to keep the sky. Got a goblet custom made every time I grease a guy. Use the floor.
Ooh, I did not know that, but that sounds fairly interesting. The idea that he's having a cup made to commemorate every kill. And he brings up the Sopwith Camel and wanting to bring it down. The Sopwith Camel is the go-to plane for the British Air Force during this time.
But silver is depleted Germany's supply. Now I'll leave you flat and cold like my frozen pizza pie.
Alright, that's silly.
Rap, I should battle DiGiorno. My name stands for Sisu, your name's on a porno.
Ugh, all your lyrical cheap shots are shoddy. They should have left you on that pile of dead bodies.
I guess they didn't cover rapping in the Dikaboka. I'm blowing up your spot like the Saki Arvin Polk.
Right?
I do like this back and forth bit. Most of these are fairly direct in how they are going after it. Plays dead, left there, makes sense.
I guess they didn't cover rapping in the Dikaboka. I'm blowing up your spot like the Saki Arvin Polk.
Alright.
Right, said you were only ever good at one thing. Tell me, how effective would you be in the spring?
I killed more in a month than you did in your lifespan. You're not Top Gun, you're just another mark for the Iceman. You don't wanna fight, dog, I might be droopy, but you're the red prick who couldn't even beat Snoopy.
Oh my god, that's actually such a good little scheme. Droopy, of course, being the Looney Tunes dog that's got the deep lisp and the longer features to go along with the damaged face after the injury. I do love that line by the Red Baron about how effective would you be in the spring. It is the snow that is giving you that ability to move quicker and more efficiently around the Soviet troops and basically prevent them from having any of these major effects throughout this period. And then the classic bit where Snoopy regularly fights the Red Baron in the old Peanuts cartoons. Yeah, that's a very fun exchange.
I dispose of foes with my most in the gun. No scope, I let it go like a frozen savant. A little beast clicking like a reindeer bull, but I don't pull a sleigh. I slay when I pull.
That's a great set of wordplay. I love that. That was so good.
I'm a bullet through a spinning propeller precision killer. Once you meet the fuckers, you'll have never been still. Hey.
Meet the Fockers line. Solid. So at the beginning of the war, there are no strafing runs. There are no direct kind of dogfights at the start of the war because it takes the invention of the interrupter gear, the ability for them to time when the bullet comes out of the end of the barrel to prevent it from ripping apart and destroying the propeller. And that's a really good direct call out to that. And that invention is what leads to the creation of the first real dogfights in aerial combat history.
I got you all in check when my spandau's boom out. I'll leave your chest looking like your name. Do now, I'll drop you like a shot.
Do umlauts is very fun.
To the jaws that you caught. Quit now. Save face like your doctors could not. They should call you White Death Wish. I just meant the taste out your mouth against the ice you had your breath with. Whole war.
Ooh, I love that final piece there. Because that was another thing that he would put snow and ice in his mouth to prevent the hot air from it giving away his position as well. I'm realizing now that I don't have as solid of a connection with a lot of the references that they had toward the Red Baron as I was hoping that I would. I'm going to have to look more into him because I thought I knew a fair bit, but apparently I've missed a lot of things. I didn't know about the goblet. I didn't quite get the line. I don't know where it went. By the way, the umlaut is that double dot above the A's in Haya. There. Oh goodness. Spandau's boom out. I don't know what that reference is. I'm assuming it's got to be a part of the plane, but I do not know the reference. I'll drop you like the shot. Quit now, save face. Is because again he gets shot by that explosive round. I do think I liked more of the Red Baron's wordplay and functions there. But to be fair, I think that that's also because of the fact that he's taking a lot more inspiration from who the White Death was. which I apparently know way more about in retrospect. But either way, that was super fun. I'm looking forward to the next one. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.